Hey, what is up, everyone? It is day 13 of 30 Days of Death Shadow. Today on our rotation, we are on 4-color Shadow. If you're new to the channel, 30 Days of Death Shadow has been a challenge to myself to play a league and record myself and upload to YouTube a league of Death Shadow every single day for 30 days straight. And we go on a little 5-day rotation. So today we're looking at 4-color Shadow. And today we have a pretty cool one. We're going to give a shout out to Death Shadow Extraordinaire Bench Summer. This is an exact 60 main deck copy of one of Bench Summer's 4-color Shadow lists from about a month ago, I believe. As you can see, it's a pretty cool blend of all the varieties of Shadow that we've played in the past. Taking a little bit from Grixis, we've got the Royal Scions in the main, which is a card I really, really love. And then we also have a Traverse the Uvenwald package, aided by Mishra's Bauble and Street Wraith. You know, you'll usually see this with Traverse, or you'll see Lurrus in the sideboard. Obviously, with Street Wraith making it so you can't play Lurrus in the sideboard. So often you'll see this kind of package in the main, and then you'll see Lurrus in the main as well. We have our pretty standard Shadow Disruption package. We got the 3 Stubs, 3 Inquisition, 4 Thoughtseize, 2 Dismember, 2 Bolts, and 3 Fatal Push. And then for our threats, we have 4 Shadow, 4 Tarmogoyf, Singleton Scourge of the Skyclaves, and a Lurrus of the Dream Den, and of course 2 Temur Battle Rages. Normally, when you'll see me playing 4-color Shadow, I'll be playing a list that only splashes red for Temur Battle Rage, and then maybe like 1 or 2 sideboard cards. But as you can see, this one has red a little bit more integral to the main deck, and you'll see the mana base reflecting that as well. We're up to 18 lands. I'll usually be on like 17 lands, and we've went up a red source in the form of a Stomping Ground. And we have a basic forest and a basic swamp, and then a variety of other shocks and fetches. That will be pretty relevant when it comes up time to our play and how we sequence our turns. You know, if we need to start on a black spell, but we also need a blue source, then to lead into a green and red source, you'll do something like, you know, fetch shock for a Watery Grave, and then go get up your Stomping Ground the next turn, and Watery Grave and Stomping Ground will cover all of your colors, as well as Blood Crypt and Breeding Pool cover all of your colors as well. But the specific needs of the turns will dictate which pairing of shock lands you're going to end up grabbing. And that's a little bit part of the difficulty of a deck like this. When your colors are split so kind of wide like that, then you're going to have to be really careful about how you're fetching and how you're anticipating your top decks, things like that. In the sideboard, you'll see, you see Kozilek's Return in like every single sideboard I've been playing for the past couple weeks, just because, you know, those pro-white creatures, or sorry, the white creatures that are pro-black and red give you such a hard time. Kolaghan's Command for some extra grind. Plague Engineer, because it's really powerful, especially now in the meta. We see a lot of elves, humans, and spirits, and a little bit of merfolk. 2 Assassin's Trophy, nice flexible answer to lots of different variety of permanents. We also see Delay, which is a personal favorite card of mine. I love playing this card in 4-color Shadow. I think that it excels pretty well in a deck like this, because a deck like this, you know, kind of has the Jund Shadow element of, you know, hand disruption turn 1 into large threat to kill your opponent. You know, Grixis plays more of a tempo game, a longer game. This deck's trying to end games a little bit faster, and so a card like Delay is a little bit less painful in a deck like this, at least in theory, as opposed to Grixis Shadow. We got 3 Nile Spellbombs to help fight graveyard decks, 2 Veil of Summers. You know, just card speaks for itself. It's one of the most powerful sideboard cards we have in Modern right now against any blue or black interactive deck, and then an extra Fatal Push to help fight against creature decks. So I'm pretty hyped about this list. I hope you all enjoy. Always keeping in mind that I am far from being any kind of Shadow expert, and this whole project is based around, you know, my own self-improvement, trying to, you know, hold myself accountable for a challenge and committing to it, and hopefully improving along the way. I got a couple friends with me here who might be chiming in every now and then, so if you hear little voices in the background, you're not going crazy. Those are just my good buddies. They're all hanging out, so I'm sure there'll be some coming in and out right now. But yeah, let's jump right into a league and see what we play against. Deck like 4-color Shadow is typically looking to, like a lot of Shadow decks, honestly, is looking to play against, you know, things that it can go way underneath and where its counterspells are relevant. So, you know, some big mana decks, a lot of combo decks, or like slow dirtily decks. But the one thing I do like about 4-color Shadow is that you get to have that, you know, disruptive package to it with the Stubborn Denials and Delays and things like that. But also you have a lot of threat resiliency because you play the Traverse the Uvenwald package. So, you know, unlike Grixis, where Grixis can be a little bit fragile, you know, you lose your first threat and you never draw another one. Whereas this deck can kind of recover from removal spells a little bit better. especially when you have Lurrus going on. You know, a common play pattern you'll see with this deck, if you're like playing against like Jund or something like that, is your opponent answers your first couple threats, and then you made a lot of land drops, you're on 5 lands, and then you just get to traverse for a Lurrus. You go traverse, get Lurrus, cast Death Shadow. You can do that on 5 lands, and that's all. That's a pretty powerful play you can have access to. All right, looks like we've been paired up, and we're gonna jump right in. Yeah. So we see a hand that might be a little bit tempting to keep because we have 3 really powerful disruptive spells, but we neither have a threat nor will we have any kind of reasonable path for a threat. So like no redraws and Street Wraith or Mishra's Bauble, and then like no Traverse the Uvenwald or even close to turning on Traverse the Uvenwald. So we're gonna mulligan this one. So this hand's fine. It's not the best hand. We're certainly grabbing a Overgrown Tomb because we're going to want to Thoughtseize on 1 here off the Wooded Foothills. And then if we brick on a land, we can traverse for another land. We have, even if we don't have traverse on, we can grab a basic swamp or a basic forest. So that seems pretty fine. And I'm just going to bin the Lightning Bolt because we are just going to be fetch shocking for the green-black source on turn 1. So I don't want that kind of liability. And there are times where Lightning Bolt is just kind of a dead card, and Fatal Push, for the most part, not always, but for the most part, usually can get just about what you're wanting to get out of creatures, and Bolt sometimes can't, so. Alright, we lead on Blood Crypt. See if they have Blood Crypt Thoughtseize, probably? Or Stitcher Supplier. Okay, interesting. Croaks already. So, alright, we already got some issues for us right away here. Croaks is pretty good against us, for sure. Let's see what... Okay, we drew the second land. That's pretty good. So I think our plan is just to try to curve Thoughtseize into Tarmogoyf here. But of course, we're going to take a peek at their hand first. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get that Thoughtseize in there. Ooh, okay. So, pretty scary hands. Obviously, the Thunderkin Awakener and the Lightning Skelemental are pretty good. So we cannot get rid of the Skelemental. Because if we bin the Skelemental, then they just go Awakener in turn 2 and just bring back the Skelemental. Let's take a look. So it checks its toughness. So yeah, of course it can't bring back Croak, so that would be wild. I think I'm actually tempted just to take the Awakener. Small chance they just brick on that 3rd land and they can't cast Skelemental. And then maybe we can potentially fade for a couple of turns and we can get ourselves set up to the point where we're not going to care as much. So I think I like just taking their turn 2 play here. So we know about their 3 cards in hand. Egon's a sweet card as well. Did Jund just win? Our opponent just asked if Jund just won something. Okay. Their last 4 matches have been against Jund. Oof. That's painful for sure. Well, I don't know if it's going to be a good or a bad thing if we're not on Jund here. Of course, we're on a very Jund style deck. Next turn, let's see what happens. Okay, at the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. Okay, so they're going to go ahead and use this in order to... Okay, Insolent Neonate, very interesting. Mill a card, exile a creature card from your graveyard, draw a card. Okay. So they're definitely like setting up for a grind, that's for sure. Their deck seems sweet, and like I could see them having starts that were pretty vulnerable to here. Cool. So let me think. If I want to, I guess we can. They're reading us to be on Jund. I don't know how much more of an advantage that's going to gain us throughout the game. Like, it might be pretty minimal, but it might be worth it. Because if this Verdant Catacombs is fetching, it's grabbing a blue source, and that will kind of give up the game here. And we don't really need to do much else besides just shock and play this Tarmogoyf, so they'll most certainly think that we're still on Jund here. And again, like, I think the advantage here is, like, really, really minimal. But, you know, it potentially could be something. Alright, so they milled over the God of Death. Let's hope they don't hit a land. If we can fade a land here, that would be really helpful for us. Oh, Village Rites, very nice. Village Rites is a sweet card for sure. So, what's up?
You're live on here, or you live somewhere else?
Oh, okay. Gotcha, guys. Gotcha. So funny enough, I'm recording my computer, but I wasn't showing any of my friends what was going on, so we'll let them in, I guess. This has menace. What's up, Mike? What's up? How's it going? So,
So far, so good.
we're looking for like a. Okay, so we're definitely like looking for a clean to dust, probably. But I think here I'm pretty happy just going catacombs. I'm probably gonna attack, play a catacomb, play a scourge, and we just see if we can't get out in front of what our opponent has planned for us. Also, we'll have revolt up for a fatal push. Yeah, so they're definitely blocking here. We don't want to blow a fatal push on this because we're pretty... Oh, wow, they're playing Heartfire and Temur Battle Rage. Pretty sweet brew from our opponent. So we're just going to go land. We're going to play a Scourge of the Skyclaves, which hopefully will end this game pretty quickly for us. If we can be able to get in a couple shots on our opponent. Alright, another Heartfire. Pretty cool. Heartfire makes sense, obviously, because they're looking to put a lot of cards of theirs into the graveyard. Right, they're doing something on their own upkeep, which is interesting. Or they're just not realizing they're in their own upkeep. Okay, fair enough. So I guess they wanted to ditch Skelly. Okay, that makes sense. So they might just be casting... Okay, no, they're not. Fair enough. Oh, they ditched that. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, cool. So we just get to, before they go to combat, we just get to push this Awakener. And I need my blue source, so I'm going to grab this. And then now I'm feeling pretty good about where we're at. Our opponent is empty-handed. Of course, they have a lot of scary top decks that can get us pretty good here. I think I'd like to push this out of the way. It's a little bit reckless. I think I want to save push for scary top decks, actually. It's playing like a little bit scared, but I guess one way to look at it, though, is if I push this now, then I'm presenting lethal on board. So if they top deck an Awakener, then it's 7 damage. They'd put us down to 1. Okay. It's tough when... For me, it's tough when you're against an unknown deck. Alright, if they Kroxa, if I push this and then I hit them, and then they Kroxa, then yeah, that would be a little bit of an issue. So I think I'm just gonna attack here.
I think it's a really good straight to attacks because if one of your creatures hits that turn, it grows the Scourge enough to be lethal next turn anyway. So you get to save your push without having to use it on that neonate.
Okay, gotcha.
So I think you came to a really good conclusion there.
Okay. Alright, I'm just going to double check with a deck like this. I'm not slow rolling my opponent, I promise, opponent, I'm sorry. I'm just like double checking there's not some weird graveyard thing I'm not seeing. Because then, if not, I'm just going to push this on the end step and then show the opponent that we have the win. Okay. Okay, they conceded. Alright, really cool deck from our opponent. Like a Rakdos, like graveyard matters, you know, like all in on the graveyard kind of deal. So obviously against a deck like that, we really want now Spellbomb. A lot of their removal looked red, like in Heartfire. I don't know if they have like Fatal Pushes or Black Base removal on the sideboard, but that's something to think about if we want Veil of Summer. Cozy's Return doesn't look like it. They make us discard a lot, so K-Command might have a role to play here. So against them, Stub looked a little weak. And so, let's see. It's again, it depends a lot on what they're bringing in from their sideboard, but I don't want to like try to outlevel myself on things I think they're bringing in from their sideboard, but I'm pretty sure Stub like was just not really going to be relevant there unless I'm forgetting something. I don't think I am. They had like Village Rights, but think they can let them derp around a little bit with some village rights.
Do you trim a TBR for key command here?
It's a definitely consideration. It's something I was thinking about. But there's just like, there's going to be some games where they're going to hit us with the Lightning Skelemental. We'll play a Death Shadow, and then they'll just have a bunch of derps in the way, and then we just Battle Rage for the win. And I think that's a play pattern we're going to want to try to like arrange to happen. But I would be down to like trim like a Street Wraith just because our life total does seem to be under like a good amount of duress against this deck. Because it looks like they can have some really fast Awakener starts. So in that case, I actually even just want a Fatal Push here.
Is Plague Man on Elemental, like, is he just too slow to...
Yeah, he might
just
be.
shut off Skelemental?
He might be, yeah. We'll consider it on the play, though. Like, if we go to a game 3 on the play, we might be something we're interested in.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually. Too slow on the draw.
Okay, so one thing to like about this hand is we have a Fatal Push to protect against an early... an early thing that gets the thing from the Awakener. That's what I was trying to think of. And, but other than that, it's a little bit dopey. It has the Fetch Land, the Bauble, and the Wraith, you know, which is obviously like a neat little thing. But I think I'd rather mulligan to a hand that's a little more assertive, has like a for sure plan. Because like if this like forest was like a Traverse Evenwald, then I'd be like, okay, snap keep. So I'm gonna mulligan this one. So this hand seems fine. This hand's like really similar to the hand that we had in last game. And yeah, we just need to hit the land. We can traverse for it. Hopefully Thoughtseize on turn 1's enough to protect us here from whatever they might be getting up to. And we're just going to go ahead and bottom the Battle Rage. We'd rather have the guaranteed threats. And then the Uvenwald we really need to help us hit that second land if we miss that second land. Alright, they lead off on a Neonate. Seems good. Alright, well, pretty lucky both games to just peel land. Pretty sick. Because we're already putting 3 types in the yard for this traverse with artifact, land, and sorcery. I'm gonna want to see what they draw into in case they activate the Neonate in response to our Thoughtseize. Or I'm sorry, that doesn't matter. But if they activate it and then they draw on their next turn, I don't know. I think it's still good just to have that info. We know that they're hitting the Egon here. And I'm happy just to grab an Overgrown Tomb. Although I probably should have slowed down there because... Actually, no, grabbing Blood Crypt's fine because we sided out most of our blue cards, so never mind. That was fine. So, the Awakener is like the scariest card because if they start getting shenanigans going, pouring stuff in their yard for the Skelemental. But Village Rights is just the most value. But I think Village Rights might be just like tempo negative, and we can just maybe land a Goyf and just get them. So, I think I don't... What's up?
Can Thunder Kin Awakener loot Instant Neonate? Is Instant Neonate just a vampire?
It's just a vampire. That's a good question, though. Yeah, good question. I didn't even think about that. That'd be a sweet... That would make their deck a lot better, that's for sure. I'm just going to take the Awakener. Like, I think this is fine. Like, it's just going to be... This is the thing that will help us tempo-wise the most, in my opinion. So... Okay, drawing another Stomping Ground, so we get to do another Jund impression with our cards here. Man, this hand's funny. It's just like this, almost exactly the same hand as last time. Okay, they're just going to fire off the rights right away. Fair enough. I mean, I think that makes some sense, like, just to do it right away, not even bother wasting time there. See what we draw into. Dismember's interesting. So Dismember means that we're turning on Traverse the Uvenwald. Comes at a bit of price of our life total, but... So I'm feeling really good if we fade a removal spell from our opponent. Because I can even do something like, if they now Skelemental me, like I can even do something like pitch Dismember in a land, we can traverse for a really big Death Shadow. So that's an option available to us now, if that's something they do. If they play Egon, that might be an issue here. We'll see, but it looks like they're not going to be able to play Egon this turn. They're just going to Village Rites again. Village Rites, obviously like a good card, and I think it has a lot of potential, and probably hasn't seen its full potential in Modern yet. Oh, okay, wow, they're just doing this. Alright, well. Alright, I think their hand was just a little bit too... I don't know what the nice way to put it is. They just derped a little bit too much. Yeah, so I think we can Thoughtseize here. We Thoughtseize, we go to 11, we can Fetch Shock down to 8. We're getting like a little bit dangerous territory, but we have a massive clock on them. So let's see if we can't take advantage of this hand. Oh wow, Spite Bellows. 6 damage to target creature. And a Skelly. Okay, interesting stuff. So another option we have available to us here now. Oh no, not yet, sorry. We don't have Traverse on yet. So is there any way to grow this Goyf? I don't think so. Because if we put this in the yard... Oh, it's an artifact in the backside. We already have artifact right here. I guess we're going to put Spite Bellows in the yard. And then that way they can't cast the front half of it. And it won't deal with a Tarmogoyf. And we potentially have an answer if they just top deck a Thunderkin Awakener. Right, it's going to deal 6 damage. It's just a 5/6. Nothing's going to grow this Goyf. Unless there's already instant creature, artifact, land. Yeah. So I think it's just Spite Bellows here. And then I got to think about what I want to do next. If it's just slam another Goyf, I think. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. We only blue card left in our deck is the Royal Scions, which maybe would kill them, but I think we need the second black source, so I think we just have to grab Blood Crypt here. So if their next turn is land Skelemental, we have definitely a decision to make. Okay, so it is. So now they would be going to 12. Wonder if they're supposed to just play Egon instead. Do we have anything that would grow this Goyf? It's like an important question here. So we've got the usual suspects. I guess if we found a way to put the Royal Scions in the yard, but that would be it. Yeah. Alright, so they decide to go with the Egon, fair enough. Oh, that's a really good draw. So, what's the play here? So I can swing out. If they block, we can dismember this. Ooh, it's dangerous, though. But let's think about it, because if we dismember this... And then we can traverse and play a shadow, be at 4 life, but we'll have a gigantic Death Shadow. Alternatively, we could just play things safe and like play out a Nile Spellbomb. Attack, if they block, we can just 2-for-1 ourselves to kill this.
So if you Spellbombed, that Aegon would die in his upkeep.
Okay.
If you could stall a whole attack, keep your hand.
Okay.
And he would have to put one other card into the yard to keep him alive.
Okay. That's a good point. It's interesting for sure.
Played with a little bit of them in Rakdos, so I've seen a few of the things work out for me and against me doing that sort of thing.
Fair enough. That seems like a reasonable play. The only thing I don't like about it means we're not attacking, but I think that might be just okay. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I don't want to Thoughtseize because then Throne of Death will mill and then that Egon will stay alive. So we're just going to pass. And this is, we know what cards are in their hand, so they're going to draw a card. They put Skelly in the yard, okay. So Skellies in Yard now aren't like as scary because we have the Dismember for the Awakener if they cast it. Alright, so now we're just going to go ahead and Dismember this. Okay, my eternal struggle to cast Dismember on MTGO. Sorry, y'all. I've had to have cast Dismember like hundreds of times by now on MTGO, and I still find a way to struggle with it. Alrighty, so took care of that. I think we just get in with the big boys, and then we traverse for a shadow, and we hope things go well. There was definitely, I think, some intricacies to that turn that I may have missed, so I'll be interested to hear from my buddies here in case maybe there was a way to have found lethal there or something. So, or a better way to.
We only know about the one card in hand.
Yeah, we only know about the Neonate. It's the only card we knew about.
Had we seen fatal pushes or anything like that yet?
We have yet to see any removal spells from our opponent, which, if they have some now, obviously it's really good, but like has felt like a weakness to their deck so far is that they're trying to rely too much on their own engine, and I don't know if their own engine's quite powerful enough, so looks like they pack it in. Yeah, what's up?
I was going to say, if we had seen fatal pushes and stuff, I think the only thing we would possibly lose to is fatal push into Skelemental.
Right.
So, like, maybe we would try to going back since it
Yeah.
doesn't change the clock at all.
That's a good point, yeah. So that was probably something to consider, at least to have spoken out loud for sure. All right, cool. Gotcha. So to everyone that's been following along with the videos, winning match 1, that's been a big thing. Like I think we've won almost every single match 1, which was really funny. But you know, as you guys know, we would win match 1 and then everything falls off the rails after that. So we'll see what happens though.
What's the worst result so far for these?
We 0-5'd with Grixis. It was a really funny league. I mean, it's a fun league I'd like to go look back on. I think it was just the perfect storm of bad variance and bad play, which, you know, is funny because when you're doing really well, it's the perfect storm of good variance and good play. So, but yeah, we had a couple Mold-4s in that league and then like just stuff like that. So yeah, that was like kind of informing my little pep talk to Dogfish about Grixis before. It's like Grixis. It's funny because like the first week we 5-0'd with Grixis, and the second week we 0-5'd with Grixis, and I was like, that sounds about right. All right, so really unfortunate to have basic forest, basic swamp, and opening hand. That being said, this hand's probably just too good to throw back. But if we, the other thing is like, what do we fetch shocking for here? Because like we need to fetch shock for like our off colors here. Not that we play steam vents, but like, you know, something maybe that has blue in it. I guess we could get Watery Grave here, then we couldn't cast as Lightning Bolt. So like this kind of, I guess this would be grabbing Blood Crypt anyway. Yeah, really, really unfortunate. If this was a fetch land, this hand would be a just snap keep, like not even thinking about it. But let's think about it a little bit. If we've got 2 Thought Seizes, that's 4 damage, and then it's only 7 on turn 2, because like I said, with my fetching requirements, I might just be leading Swamp Thought Seize here. I might need to phone in a friend for this one, Mike or Guy or whoever else. What do you guys think?
I think we're definitely keeping. We have a draw step to see if we're going to draw something.
Yeah. For sure.
I think it's keep.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can put back the double Thoughtseize Death Shadow interaction hand.
Yeah, for sure. Alright, let's see what happens.
Plus, if I was on Mono Red Prison, dude, we got this.
Without the monkey, you don't have anything to fear when you're on the draw, you know. Oh, you're saying because we have the basics. Oh, yeah. Exactly. That's true. You always got to think positively. All right, basic forest, Amulet of Vigor. Okay, so double Thoughtseize will definitely be able to put in some work here. All right, so the other fetch is really nice because now I can just kind of fetch however I want here. So I can, one of the options that I have here is I can grab Blood Crypt with this and then grab a Breeding Pool with this if I need all my colors. That being said, I'm pretty happy just to lead on a Blood Crypt here so that I have both Bolt and Thoughtseize. Now, unfortunately, Bolt does not answer a Dryad, but it could potentially answer other creatures that they play. So the second Amulet's pretty terrifying. We have to take that. I'm pretty sure we just like have to take it, and we're just going to take it.
Us ripping this hand to shreds also answer the Dryad.
Reducing our opponent's life total to 0 is a good answer. Well, it's about right. That's about right.
Just make sure you don't fetch up Breeding Pool off the Verdant Catacombs.
Yeah, because we're going to want a shadow as well. Alright, well, so our opponent having double Amulet after we thought sees it is definitely going to set the tone for this game. But, you know, it is what it is. I think we're just going to grab Watery Grave here. And then we basically got all of our colors covered. And then next turn we may just be in a situation where we're bolting ourselves to try to get in more damage with the Death Shadow.
They need to drop both Bounce Land plus Titan. Which I guess...
They can do over the course of a couple turns for sure. But I just think this setup, you know, obviously is just going to make it so that we're at 10 life already, so any top deck Titan is just going to mean game over on the spot. So, or a Titan that they can cast, that is. Our opponent paused there for a little bit. I don't know if to read into that at all, like potentially means they have a bounce land. I don't know. And they're thinking like, okay, I don't play that bounce land yet or something like that. Okay, so I think we're just going to go ahead and bolt ourselves. Try to increase our clock as much as we possibly can here. Obviously, unfortunate, we got Bajuka bogged because we were 1, 2, 3. Because then we would have been like just a couple types away from turning on this Traverse, but no. So now we're looking for is like Street Wraith and a Teamer Battle Rage will just win the game, which is, you know, of course cool. Yeah, they just play Garen Brig and pass. See if we can get that little whitelist energy going, coursing through our veins.
How many bolts do you play in deck?
Just 2. Yeah, any way to lower our life total here, obviously we're going to take, because then... Okay, not a way to lower our life total, but not a bad draw. So... Just trying to think if there are any weird lines I can take. No, they're not. Okay, let's go to attacks.
It's the same thing as like bolting ourselves here. We get blocked by a turn.
Right. Alright, now we clench. Alright, opponent, what do you got for us? What do you got for us? Indeed. I guess one potential thing, pretty remote here, but if there's a top deck like an Engineered Explosives, then they have to E on 1, which takes out their Amulet of Vigors, which is nice, and then grows the Goyf, because it puts creature in the yard. So, but opponent leading on Explore is a good sign for us. So yeah.
Ironically enough, if they had the Dryad there, a second Fatal Push would do it as well. Or would
Or a Revolt on the push.
Kill the Dryad.
Hmm.
If you feared it that much.
All right, sweet. So obviously we're pretty happy that one went well. Against Amulet, I'm not too interested in the lightning bolts. Find a trim on a Traverse. The opponent has the card Bajuka Bog, so that can potentially gum us up pretty good. I'm kind of fine trimming on a single Fatal Push because I tend to like Dismember as being able to answer all of the creatures they can put in front of us. Of course, besides the big boy, but you know, when the big boy's coming, you got bigger problems to deal with. I think Delay is a card that we're pretty interested in here against a deck that's trying to resolve a really big creature. Obviously, they have Cavern of Souls, so Cavern of Souls can really mess up your delays, but in my experience, most Titan decks are going to be playing around stub and not most other permission. Not to say that, you know, that they won't or that they can't, but, you know. Gosh, it's like the only reason I'm reaching for Trophy now is because they don't have Field of the Dead anymore. So it's something to consider here. Let's see what else we have. We don't need Cling to Dust. So maybe it's like... K-Command can potentially play a role. It's a little slow on the draw, though. A little bit better on the play. Let's try it out. If this is like a total trap, this is a total mistake, then, you know, we'll learn from it. But I don't know. I'm kind of like hyped about this idea of my opponent resolving a Titan and us still being able to win. Okay, so... Ooh. This is one of those hands, it's like if we find a threat, this hand just absolutely slaps. So I think I'm going to keep, because on the basis that if we go something like land, Bauble, Thoughtseize, and then turn 2 we can delay something. Not that it's great to delay something on turn 2, but it is a path to getting Traverse online. We cut a Traverse, obviously, but it just means that our hits for threats are up now. So we have 4 Goyfs, 4 Shadows, and 2 Traverses as our realistic good draws. That's like 10 outs. Over probably, I would say we have like 3 draws to make it realistic. So like 10 outs over 3 draws is like seems reasonable to me. So I think I'm gonna take the risk and keep it, especially if we like hit a Death Shadow and we really start lowering our life total. Just the Battle Rage ends the game pretty quickly here. So definitely a risk, not the perfect hand, and has a big fail rate, obviously, but I think I'm willing to take that risk in a matchup like this. All right, T-West taps. Obviously not nearly as scary of a start as our opponent had last turn. All right, we're just going to bobble. All right, we're just going to take a peek at what they're drawing into. They're drawing Windswept Teeth. I'm going to go ahead and grab... I just want to be able to have access to all my colors here, so I'm fine with just grabbing a Blood Crypt and then potentially grab Breeding Pool with the next fetch if I need it. Do I want to bobble anything else? No, I'm good now. Okay, cool. So we know they're drawing into this. I think that's okay. Bajuka Bog, yeah. So that cuts out 2 of our outs. I think we just don't want to mess around. We're just gonna take Summoner's Pact here. And then depending on what our opponent does, I'm gonna bobble them. All right. Well, the big boy's showing up right on time. It's never too late. It's never too early. Shows up precisely when he means to. Our opponent's probably gonna. Okay. Okay, so he drew like into a Amulet of Vigor or a. Oh no, he's just. Interesting. I think obviously F6 value is a real thing, but since we have Bobble, I think it's fine to just not fetch there so that you prevent me from getting the information. Oh wow, we just have the land and double Battle Rage. So let's see, Bajuka Bog, Sorcery Instant, so it'll still be a 3/4. Okay. Opponent just getting fancy here. Are they about to pact? Or, sorry. Wait, what's going on right now? Why are they floating the mana? Okay. Maybe they made a mistake. They meant to bounce Talaria West. Maybe they meant to click the Simic Growth Chamber and not the Bajuka Bog. That's probably what happened. Okay, so if we Teamer Battle Rage here, I don't think it does quite enough. It's definitely an option for us to think about, but I think we want to hold up this delay. Most especially if our opponent finds a way to pact, grab Titan, put Titan on the stack, then we can just delay it. So now I think they want to do the T-West thing, right? Or they just want to... Okay. Couldn't they... Maybe they have something else to cast? Because my thought would be... We know 4 of the 5 cards, so maybe the last one's really special. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, just another land. So, since we just drew another land... So, Battle Rage here would... Still gains Double Strike, just doesn't gain Trample. Battle Rage here would put him to 10. I think it's worth it, especially because we can still hold up delay. I don't know, maybe we might need double delay, in which case obviously that this is like a really bad play. But okay, so they just have a Titan here. Pact. Okay, this is great for us because they pact for the Titan. They're going to put the Titan on the stack. We get to delay it. And then their whole next turn is just paying for their pact. Funny enough, the Goyf is yet to grow. We're just going to grab Breeding Pool. And grab Overgrown Tomb. Alright, delay on it. So any way to grow the Goyf here? God, if there's some kind of way. Street Wraith into Bauble will do it. So let's do that. Okay. Well, all right. So we'll kill him next turn because they're gonna tap out. We have delay for anything else, so that'll do. That'll do. All right, opponent. I guess. All right, we get to play like the what are their outs game. Can they? They could probably actually they have enough mana. I think they can EE and hold up Veil of Summer. But then no, because then they wouldn't be able to crack EE. Crumbling Vestige make black. Like if okay, second Crumbling Vestige make black. Oh no, that wouldn't do it either. What do you guys think? Anyone think of the outs here? I was trying to think of a way. How do you kill 2 creatures on the board here, and then also protect against the delay? Okay, sure. We didn't even need to do that because we had Teamer Battle Rage, but it's like, why not? All right, cool. 2-0-4-0 to start out. We've done that before. We gotta now. I'm overly cautious. We got to get that 3rd win, and then we can take our take a little breath, a little sigh of relief. All right, going on to match number 3. Let's see what we are paired up against. Big JC. Big Jesus Christ. Love it, man. We're going to mulligan this hand. This hand has no threat and no like realistic way to maybe get one, so we're going to mull. This hand's pretty medium. Obviously, we're hoping the Street Wraith hits like a Thoughtseize, but I don't think I'm gonna throw back a hand like this. This hand is like much better on the play, because then being able to Goyf, potentially hold up a Ferocious Stubborn Denial is like a lot better. But we'll see. We'll see what kind of matchup we're up against here. Our opponent mulligan to 6 as well. All right. Fun. We get to play against Amulet again. So we really are hoping now to hit a Thoughtseize here. We do not. Ooh, Watergrave is actually a really bad draw there. Not just because it's another land, but because now, like, I was thinking of like holding up Stub and getting a Watergrave to do so. So we can still though grab a Breeding Pool off this Wooded Foothills, and our opponent, if somehow they don't play around Stub, like with like a top decked Amulet of Vigor, they're not, I mean, they're just like Wooded Foothills. They don't suspect much here. So yeah, so a little bit of unfortunate starting of our hand and a draw there in the Watery Grave. Yeah, I mean, the Traverse is potentially going to be helping us out a bunch. I'm assuming on T-West Tap that just means Amulet. I don't think there are any other decks in the format that play T-West Taps. Besides something really obscure, so I just have to assume we're up against Amulet again. Okay, what Foothills? Crack it. Just like, I'm probably going to Stub and Explore, but we'll see what they have here. Because if they Explore here... Oh, Ancient Stirrings? Wow, okay. Oh, no, that makes sense, obviously, because you can't Stirrings off of T-West. I was going to say, man, they had like the sicko read here, but we still get to Stub this, which is obviously fantastic. So our only blue source here is Breeding Pool. So our opponent is going to be really confused with this stuff. They're like, Breeding Pool, Stubborn Denial? What? But oh, I guess no, they play around Stub because we just showed them Street Wraith. I'm being dumb. I'm being really dumb. Yeah, they obviously are going to play around. Yeah. Okay. I just went on a long ramp on myself just for no reason there. All right, we're going to try to get... Man, he's thick already. Look at him. He's a 5/6. He got that booty. Got that Tonka truck. Okay, if we draw a fatal push, Goofer gets even thicker. He gets even thicker. Okay, Scourge. So I'm just gonna go straight to combat here. I'm guessing they're taking it. Yeah, okay, cool. So we get to play a Scourge with the Skyclays. That's nice. But they could 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, because they could definitely Titan us next turn. But yeah, we'll see what happens. What are our good outs here? Like, oh, does Team or Battle Rage do it? It depends. Depends. I'm guessing they packed, sure. Not having that other stub's gonna hurt. Prime time. The good thing though is that we stubbed the Amulet, so they can't give this haste. I'm guessing they're just gonna grab some blockers here. Either way... Oh, no, wait. Did they just get to kill us? Okay. So I'm going to let the first one resolve. If I fetch, shock, bolt them, then this will grow. Have they made the land drop for... Have they made their 2 land drops for turn? I believe so. And then this way... I think they've already made 2 land drops for turn. If they haven't, then I probably should have saved the bolt. Okay, yeah, they did. All right. All right, so we need, like, Fatal Push would be sick, because we could push the Dryad and force the... Oh, no, because they could block the Tarmogoyf? Ooh, okay. Bobble. Let's just... Unlocks our Traverse, but does that do anything for us? Trying to think if this helps us at all. Is there a creature? No, there's no creatures that do damage to our opponent or anything like that. We could traverse for a Street Wraith and just try to take a blind draw. Like a blind draw into a Fatal Push would be really sick. Ooh. Tough spot. Okay, we gotta think about our life total as well. Alright, we can peek at the top of their deck. Not that that is going to matter too much. Okay, if I Balble myself, is there anything I'd want to draw on my upkeep that I would care about? I guess a Dismember. I mean, okay, so I guess the fact of the matter is that we're dying next turn because of the Dryad Primeval Titan thing, right? So in that case, I think we just do this, and I think we just traverse for a Street Wraith. Right, because, yeah, I mean, just more land drops, we're just dead, right? Like, we just cannot survive them untapping because of just land drops. So, I think we have to traverse for a Street Wraith and take a blind draw here. And then we're going to blind draw now off of it. If we don't hit it, we have a draw off the Bauble, so we'll pass to them. And then... if we hit a push, we can fetch push this. So we can go like this, traverse. And then let me just double check there's not like something I'm missing. Because dealing damage to ourselves doesn't do anything, right? Like, the goof is still going to stay at 5-6. Like, if we rip that push, it's going to be nuts. Because then Goyf will be bigger, and it will just force a chump on the Goyf and the Scourge. Well, they'd probably chump the Scourge, take it from the Goyf. Alright. Oh, shit! That was sick! That was disgusting. That was disgusting. Goyf's bigger now. Oh, man. That was so sick. Oh, man. Wow. Alright, well.
Jeez, Steven, you're so whitelisted.
So whitelisted, dude. I'm glad you're still here, Mike, because I was just, you know who I was thinking about that whole time? I was like, dude, Mike. I'm thinking about Mike and how he said, like, play to every out. Like, you got to find those lines. And wow. All right, that was sick. I can't believe. And we only play 3 as well. That's so crazy, man. Okay, so I think last time we did this, we wanted to do something like this. Yeah, got the bolts. Alright, I gotta calm down a little bit. Something like this. Oh, Mike, now that if you're still here and talking, any strong feelings about this kind of sideboard plan? This is what we did last time. Okay, Mike's not with us.
Say it looks fine.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Give me half a second to look over it. No, he's not here.
Oh, it was just dead silence. It wasn't like or I just didn't hear anything at all. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe he's gone.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because like I have my recording equipment up, so I can't even see who's still like on the Discord or not. All right, wow. Well, our opponent's probably pissed, but you know, what are you gonna do? Okay, so a little bit of an unfortunate hand, because if this Watergrave was a Thoughtseize, this hand would be just fully awesome. And since we don't, we're on the draw especially, like, and trophy's not going to be relevant enough for us here, so I think we're just going to take the maul on that one. Alright, we'll take this one. This one's pretty good. Just going to bottom a land here. Obviously, we wish the Inquisition was a Thoughtseize, but hopefully we can still punch a hole in their deck, or in their hand, rather. Alright, no Veil Summer to worry about. Oh my god, we just have Thickums for days. How do I want to fetch? I guess I could just fetch for all my colors. Yeah, I think that's fine.
So,
oh, yeah, go ahead.
one thing I would keep in mind whenever you're deciding on your moles, Verdant Catacombs can get all of your shocklands in your deck. Wooded Foothills misses Watery Grave.
Okay.
So I would bottom the Wooded Foothills before the second Catacombs, just in case there's some series of events comes up in which you want to fetch Watery Grave.
Yeah, definitely. That's good. That's a good point. All right. That's unfortunate, but, you know, they got a hand that's fairly slow. Obviously, they can top deck some pretty good ones to help speed this process along. But, yeah, that was definitely my worry about the Inquisition there. This is definitely not the first time that something like that's happened to me against Amulet. But, you know, that being said, we just get to slam some goofers, which always feels good. I just want to get all my colors here. Well, but if I get Overgrown Tomb, then I'll have Watery Grave for blue. Yeah. So, I think I'd, all things considered, rather be loaded up on black sources. Yeah. Unless I needed to hold up, like, if I somehow draw into stub and delay. I might be thinking too hard about this. Just grab Overgrown Tomb. All right, he's slim right now, you know. He's a little skinny at 2-3, but we're gonna send him to the gym. You know, hopefully we get some more creature or card types in the yard, get a little beefed up. In fact, if opponent has something like Dismember here, that's actually, I think, really good for us, because then that will put instant and creature in the yard, and then also lower the life total for the other Goyfs. So. Alright, just, transmute Talaria West. They're going to grab an EE, maybe? EE would be pretty good, because then I would be stopping us from playing out goofs. In fact, I think it's... Oh, just a Garen Brig? Oh, fair enough. You know, that speeds it along, right? 2, 3, so 4. So we got another turn to rip like a delay. Okay, so that can potentially grow the Goyf. Ooh, imagine if they had gotten EE and we got to Inquisition. Oh, let's go. That was a good get. Dryad. Alright, so any fetched lands any fetch land. Mishra's Bauble. Okay. Dang. Would have been pretty good. So, I wonder if we're even supposed to play this Shadow, because it's just going to die when they prime time and grab Valakut. Grabbing Valakut is that just lethal? No, it's so it's 2 mountains entering and 2 different Valakuts are seeing it. So yeah, no, that is lethal actually. So what we want to do instead then, okay, I think I have an idea. So I have an idea here. It's probably not going to work out. But my idea is something like play a Death Shadow. So if they kill it, I get Revolt and I can Fatal Push the Dryad. Okay. We're just trying to like see if they give us Revolt somehow. I don't think they're going to, obviously.
So I like the look for Revolt line a lot. I would consider playing the Death Shadow before you go to combat there, because if they block one of your Goyfs, you could potentially push your own Death Shadow to grow it, or grow the Goyfs.
Oh, I didn't see that line. Yeah, I didn't see that line. All right, they did not grab Valakut, but they still have another land drop to make. They just make. Okay. Okay. All right, GG's. Wow, we were super close. I think if we had that way to trigger Revolt, I think we would have been all Gucci. Ooh, delay would have been sick as well. All right, well, good thing we didn't show them delay in that game. So, you know, that one's probably going to be a surprise. So.
Is this match 2?
This is match 3. We got paired up against Amulet twice in a row.
Yeah.
So let's see. God, do we even want the Royal Scions? I don't think we do. I think the matchup's a little bit too fast for that. Maybe we just want another Fatal Push on the draw, or on the play rather. I think that's fine. This the Royal, maybe the Royal Scions wasn't supposed to be in our deck at all. So yeah, let's hit submit. We would love to play first. Okay. I think I'm gonna keep. Man, or is it just like too? No, I think we can't ship a hand like this. I don't think. If we like, for instance, bobble ourselves, see Thoughtseize, this hand's really good. Opponent keeps 7 as well. Yeah, we're going to bobble ourselves. A Stubborn Denial. We're certainly keeping that. Because then that way, if they go for the turn 1 Amulet of Vigor, we get to stub it. Which is huge. And they kept their 7, so there's a chance. Ooh. I think I'm going to... What do you think about this one, Mike? Do you think this is a stub?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if they had Amulet, they would play it first.
Right.
To try to like get it under any potential counter magic.
Right.
This could also be looking for like a bounce land.
Right.
And either one of those that you get to stop, I think you're pretty happy with.
Right. Agreed there. So yeah, that last one can grab Blood Crypt. That Traverse was a great draw. Can grab Shadow, because we're going to cycle Street Wraith. And in fact, let's cycle it first. Okay. No. All right. And so the next turn we can Traverse for Shadow, play Shadow, just play Catacombs Pass, and then we have Fatal Push for whatever. Alright, so that means delays are probably turned off now, because I'm guessing they're gonna... Okay, no, never mind. So they have Forest in hand. Tarmogoyf's big. He's really big. He's thick and strong here. Grab a Death Shadow.
Cavern's kind of a interesting one to pick up. Like, I don't know if they just didn't have any better targets in their stirrings, but
Right.
it's typically a card that you're not too terribly afraid of on the Amulet side against, or you're not too terribly interested in finding on the Amulet side against Shadow.
Mm-hmm. Oh, are we one away? Oh, I think we're one off lethal. Because if we fetch Shock, we go to 7. Yeah, and if we traverse for a Street Wraith, then we hit him down to 1. I'm not missing anything, right?
I don't believe so.
So with that in mind, I wonder if we're not supposed to just Bloodstained Mire pass. Maybe traverse for something? So that we have a Revolted Fatal Push in case they try to go for a kill involving Dryad.
I think you can traverse for the Wraith, and if the Wraith happens to see like Battle Rage, Thought Seize, something like that, you get to just kill them. If not, then you can just play the fetch land, attack, and pass.
Or that.
Like there.
That's why sometimes we tolerate Mike, you know. Sometimes we tolerate him, you know.
I don't know why.
All right, guys. Ooh, that feels so good. We get to breathe that sigh of relief. We got our 3 wins. So my personal goal for my league, my goal is always a 3-2 a league. And if I didn't 3-2 a league, that usually, you know, I'm usually not happy with that. So no complaints. To me, the rest of the league's just a free roll. If we're able to pick up more wins, great. If not, that's okay. But of course, what we got to focus on is the more important thing, which is just thinking about our decision making there. And yeah, some fun lines there with Traverse and a Street Wraith, and both are matches against both Titan players.
Whitelist.
White, I know. Well, that's what they call me. That's my middle name. Mirror Battlesphere. Mirror Whitelisted Battlesphere. So definitely interesting to see a lot of Amulet players. I guess it makes me kind of happy because, like, you know, I personally know a number of Amulet players, and like I knew them before there was like a lot of the Dryad, Field of the Dead stuff, and like I always had a lot of respect for how they played. And I'm not saying I didn't lose respect for any Amulet players, but what I am saying is that Amulet has now gone back to the build where I feel like it's a lot less linear, if that makes sense. It's an interesting hand on the play. I think I keep. I mean, we get like very punished if we're against like Burn, but just Wraith. If we find a threat, this hand's like tippity top, I think. So I'm gonna take a chance on this one, I think. Things off the Wraith. Okay, Goofer. Yeah, so then on the chance that we're up against a matchup where our life total matters a lot, then I'm just going to do this first. Off of the Swamp, because we know we can polluted Delta for the green source. Okay, so our life total does matter, because we're up against Blue-Red Prowess. So obviously we're going to take this Swift Spear. We're definitely hoping to fade a threat off the top from them, because then the rest of these cards, if they top deck that threat, the rest of these cards get a lot worse. So no, they're just going to pass. Sounds good. A bolt's a great draw. So now what we can do is we can grab... Oh, no, wait, this can't grab green. They can't grab Stomping Ground. So that's okay. I think I can Wraith one more time, just to see if we hit a different land. We can fetch more strategically. Okay. I think landing the threat is of utmost importance. Once we put an instant in the yard, the goof will be a 4/5. Which I would guess would be happening pretty quickly here. I suppose we can just grab Breeding Pool. Or is it just Overgrown Tomb? No, Breeding Pool's fine. Well, if we grab Overgrown Tomb, we can Thoughtseize next turn. I think Thoughtseize, yeah. No, we're gonna grab Breeding Pool.
Yeah, I think Breeding Pool is correct. I think this triple Thoughtseize is gonna get dead pretty quickly with like
Right.
double opt on their side.
Right. Yeah. So hopefully we can draw that red source so that we can bolt a threat when they find one. Okay, Scalding Tarn. Also opted. They're fetching right away, telling me they have maybe like a Sprite Dragon or maybe a Manamorphose. Okay, yeah, Manamorphose. So I guess we gotta hope to fade the Stormwing entity, but looking like they may have it. Oh, just a Sprite Dragon. Okay. Certainly we're gonna take that. Alright, so let's see if they want to go all in. I feel like I might if I was them. The growth. Because we're showing them Sultai colors, so they're probably not expecting the bolt. So I think I might just go in on this, but that would be me, and so obviously I'm not my opponent. Okay, they do. So yeah, so if we top deck the red source for the bolt, it may not even be good here. So if we Thoughtseize, we're at 7. If we fetch Shock, then we're at 4. So I just don't... That's unfortunate. I think all these Thoughtseizes are just dead. I just don't think we can afford to take that damage. That means... It just means that any top deck bolt kills us. Because so ideal scenario here is we get to check first with the Thoughtseize, and then, you know, then get to move in. But I don't think that's going to be happening here. So I think we're just going to grab Blood Crypt. Yeah, that's fine. Because if I top deck a Traverse, then I'm definitely grabbing a Shadow with it. Alright, we got to clench a little bit. If they have the second free spell, obviously they played well. And okay, yeah. I was going to say, if they had the second free spell, I think that was probably a pretty heads-up play there. Oh, I miscounted. We're going to 4 on the Thoughtseize. I guess I miscounted. I still think it's okay not to fire off a Thoughtseize here, though. Okay. Swiss Spear, sure. So, yeah, we know 2 of their cards is Steam Vents and an Opt. So if they have Opt and a Bolt, yeah, I think that would do it. Or maybe they have it here. Puts it on top, so gotta figure that they... Okay. Oh, interesting. I would figure that if they topped a card... Well, maybe it's another threat. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I was gonna say, it's either another threat or lethal. I couldn't really see it being either anything else besides that. Okay, so Forest, obviously not doing a ton for us here. We're not attacking because we'd be dead to any spell at all, so we're just gonna pass. So yeah, I mean, definitely the risky take when you keep an opening hand that relies on Street Race and fetch lands. We did most of the work for our opponent in terms of killing ourselves. I'm guessing this is just an attack. Oh, wow. Huh. Wonder what's stuck in their hand. I don't think we're going to mess with that one. Just pass again. If we had 5 lands, I would definitely hardcast the Street Wraith, but alas, we do not. Alright, another threat, sure. Okay, if we draw the Maelstrom Pulse we didn't register in our deck, that'd be good. Ooh. Luris is cool. It doesn't really do anything, but... I mean, I guess maybe it attacks and gains life. I don't know. I'm honestly just shocked that we're still alive here.
I mean, it feels to me like their last card in hand was just a land.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't miss a land drop for 5 turns.
Oh, is this the hard cast? Oh no, it's just the light up the stage. Okay, cool. I thought it was the hard cast, whatchamacallit, Storming Entity. So let's see, they can Gutshot the Goyf to shrink it. Yeah, they would just need one more spell to kill us, but unfortunately we have to block, obviously, and we're at 4. So wait, no, they just Gutshot Luris then, right? To shrink it so we gain less life. Something like this. Oh, interesting. So they... Oh, I guess because this kills both our creatures. Is that why? Oh, no, it won't kill the Goyf. Wait. Okay, never mind. I'm going to say... We'll take a draw step. Catacombs. Yeah, we'll just pack it in. I feel like this is getting a little boring at this point, so we'll go on to game 2. All right, in game 2, we get to bring in some goodies, which is nice. We get to bring in some more removal spells. On the play, maybe trim on some of those cards that were a bit of a liability in that matchup. Kolaghan's Command obviously is not that great, but it is a little bit better on the play. I wonder if you can mess around with delay on the play to try to get a Stormwing Entity. I don't know if that's worth it. See if we want to take anything else out, though. We may not. Yeah, I think I should leave him just fine like this. Yeah, let's give this a shot. Scourge potentially is really, really good. Dismember is a little rough, but I think we just have to have it as an answer for Stormwing. As is the case with Trophy. Bolt we need. Cling to Dust can be really useful in some spots. Royal Scions is not amazing. On the play, I'd rather have a delay than a Royal Scions, so we'll try that. Okay. Yes, we'd love to play first. Cool. This hand looks pretty good. We have a way to get a Death Shadow. Or we could just Tarmogoyf. Let's see, if we fetch shock, this is 3, 6, 8. We're down to 12. So Street Wraith wouldn't save Shadow from a Bolt. We're definitely still keeping, though. But something to keep in mind. And we'll go into 6. So is there any combination of cards we can, or ways we can fetch here, so we can fetch basic on turn 2 if we need to? I guess it would be like, I guess we could go with just Jund colors. No, I think we're just going to grab typical Overgrown Tomb. I think that's fine to start off with. Okay, got the Thoughtseize. So if I had a removal spell, I would just take this light up the stage. But that being said, they're on 1 land, and light up. Obviously, if they hit the second land, then they just get to go dart light up. But then that's using their whole second turn if that's what they're choosing to do. So I think we just take the Swift Spear. Like I said, if we had a removal spell, we had like a Fatal Push, that would be perfect here. But we're just gonna do that. Okay, there's the basic swamp. I think I'm just gonna Goyf actually. Just like don't need to play a threat that lowers our life total a bunch and is fragile and can die to a second land. So I think I'm actually fine just playing Goyf here. And keeping in mind that 1, 2, 3, 4, that it will grow to an instant hitting the yard. So which is pretty important here. Then if they whiff second land, okay, they opt, sure. Grows. So they put on top, that means they hit the land. Okay. Let's see if they want to do anything here. Nope. Okay, cool. So we just get to bash in, which is nice. Oh, that's a really, really good draw. Because we're going to hit them down to 15. This will be a 5/5. That's awesome. And then if they fetch, we can fetch also to make it a 6/6 that can potentially play around other removal spells they might have. There's already creature in yard, so we don't really need to cycle Wraith here. And again, I'm just going to be as cautious with our life as we can be able to be. Because with just this here, I mean, we're good. Like, we're set. So... So the other nice thing about us kind of playing careful with our life total as well is that if we top deck Team or Battle... Okay, the opponent just goes up. If we had... Let's see if we did. If we top deck Team or Battle Rage... no, we weren't. Okay. If we did something like Fetch Shock to 13, Cycle to 10, any situation where you're at 10 life, you have a Scourge of the Skyclaves, and your opponent has 15 or less life, it's just lethal. Team or Battle Rage with the double strike and Scourge's ability will make that happen. So... Cool. Feels good to get that one. I think I want to get delay out of here on the draw. And, but gosh, is there anything I would rather have? I don't know. God, maybe it is delay. Just like don't want anything else. So all these cards get worse on the draw. I mean, you could argue Thoughtseize, but just the life total on the draw is like really, really relevant. So yeah, we'll just submit it back. Interesting hand. It's close. It's probably a mulligan, though. The reason I like it is because of the fatal push. I mean, we're on the draw. And if we take any damage, it'll help turn on the Death Shadow. Like, it just has some good ingredients in it. You know, removal spell, Death Shadow, Battle Rage. Like these. Answer to Stormwing Entity. But it feels a little bit risky. I think we can get better hands than this. Because, like, we're not only looking for more lands, but there's lands we can hit that won't lower our life total enough for this Shadow. So I think we're just going to mull. Okay, hand's much, much, much better. Wow. Wow, so we can just keep, like, a Jund hand if we want. We can go Thoughtseize into Goyf, push something, try to Battle Rage for the win. But that would be restricting myself to Jund colors. And I still have my stubs and a delay in. So I'm debating what I want to bottom. I guess land also might be important to grow the Goyf. And we're only taking 1 extra damage, right? Because we're planning on shocking anyway. So we're going to bottom the... So, Blood Crypt... I think we're bottoming the Blood Crypt here. That one I'm not sure about, though. So if they turn 1 creature, we are faced with a decision between Thoughtseize and Fatal Push, but I do think that Thoughtseize might be more important because you want to prevent the turn 2 Stormwing Entity, given our hand does not have an answer to it. Okay. Alright, they shock in. Looks like they probably have the turn 1 creature. Okay, they have Swifty, sure. Potentially we don't even care about Swiftspear that much. Wow, our opponent doesn't even attack us. That's crazy. Alright, Bobble's a sweet draw. I guess I am deciding between Blood Crypt and Tomb here, so I can just bobble myself. A polluted Delta. We don't need that yet. We don't need third land yet. We can function off just the 2. So let's go ahead and just fetch shock Thoughtseize here. Again, just doing this because we're pretty worried about a turn 2 Stormwing. Okay, their hand's not amazing. They can obviously clock us for a bunch of damage next turn, but we just have to take the light up here. Okay, rate's not ideal. We'll see what they do. There's a Scalding Tarn. Obviously worse for us would be Growth the Swiftspear and then they top deck the Stormwing. Would be the worst for us. But they're deciding if they want to go all in on this attack or not. If they go all in on the attack, I'm feeling more comfortable playing the Goyf. If they hold back and don't hit me for much, I'm tempted just to go Tapped Overgrown Tomb, just Fatal Push this. But let's see what they decide to do. They did not attack turn 1, which I was kind of surprised by. Because I think that even, like, yes, we play Death Shadows, but I think actually when they're on the play, they're able to really take advantage of the fact that we're on the back foot. And so, like, lowering our life total a bunch, even though it, you know, potentially could help us, I think is, like, actually where you want to be on the play here. Okay, so are they really going to go all in? Let's see. Because they could go all in here. We know the rest of their hand. They could go, like, Dart, Burst Lightning, Growth It, Flashback Dart. Which is a lot of damage I haven't quite added up yet. 5. That would be 3. That would put us to 4. In which case I would certainly just Tomb Tapped, just push this. Unless we draw like a Death Shadow, in which case we're like just trying to go for it. Alright. Putting us to 4. So yeah, Tomb tapped Fatal Push unless we draw exactly Death Shadow. Okay. Actually not the worst. But how do I want to use this bauble? I want to see what they're drawing into. Morphos. Okay, that's not bad. So now I can just go like this, tapped, pass.
I think I would fatal push on your turn because of spell pierce.
I know what they're drawing into. They're drawing into Manamorphose, and they have Mountain in hand.
Oh, they have mountain in hand.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
Do they not tag
Ooh.
that mountain to the lava dart?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
But I will push in response to this, I believe. Or do I? I can just like wait for them to go to combat. Yeah, I can just wait for them to go to combat. So if we can fade here, that's unfortunate. So that was the opposite of fading. And they get to scry too, yeah. So the game's probably over, unfortunately. Like, we have to top deck now a Assassin's Trophy. Yeah, that was, I mean, you know, what are you going to do? For anyone who was watching yesterday, the same exact, almost same scenario against Izzet Prowess happened to go to us yesterday. We just, like, they just had no cards. Yeah, they went top, so we're just, like, extremely dead here. So we have to hit Assassin's Trophy for the Stormwing, and then even then we might still be dead. Okay, that's interesting. Can maybe save us here. So we're going to Death Shadow, and then... So Cling can take us up to 7. But we still are dead to Bolt or Lava Dart. Alright, let's hope it's not a really good one. Oh, maybe I was supposed to Cling. Ooh, I was supposed to Cling before. Yeah, I was supposed to Cling before. Okay, so here's why. Now we're really in an awkward spot. If they hit us to 1, they can just respond to whatever. If they just have a 1 mana damage spell, like let's just say they have Lava Dart, they can just respond with Dart to this Cling. To like, let's say I take the damage to 1, I go to Cling, they would just Dart, because I need to go for the Battle Rage next turn. But if they...
Still playing right now.
Yeah. I was getting to that. So, but what I'm saying is that, like, now I also put myself in the spot to just be getting completely blown out by Spell Pierce. So. Alright, clenching time. Alright, we're not dead. Like, just a threat? Oh, light up the stage?
Sweet light up the stage.
Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness. Dang. That was intense. Okay. Interesting stuff. I thought when they topped with the Stormwing, we were just like 1000% dead. So, if Monastery Swiss Spear... Okay, interesting. Yeah, okay. Alright. Alright, hey, we're playing for the 5-0. That's pretty cool. Always feels good to play for the 5-0. Yeah, we'll see what we get paired up against. Every game felt pretty close, except for maybe the first match. Every other games felt like pretty close. Definitely felt like a few top decks could have gone either way. Well, of course, no, that one Titan where we just completely luck-sacked into the Fatal Push was was obviously very lucky. So yeah, easily any of these games could have gone the other way. So. I guess one thing to think about is, like, I guess we could say that we just lose the Spell Pierce in that spot against the Stormwing entity, because maybe there's a world where... Well, we had the Street Wraith, so I don't know. Like, maybe there's a world where if we just clean to dust right away, they don't attack. And then, I haven't done the math exactly. Maybe we wouldn't have killed them. Been able to kill them. So we, like, need them to attack in? I don't know. It probably was just right just to cling just right away before they untapped.
Well, I think Spell Pierce would have been a very weird top out of them.
Yeah, true.
Like,
Alright. Obviously a sweet hand here because we have the disruption, but like we've said a bunch, no threat, no path to get a threat, so we got a mulligan. Gotta go down again. Ooh, this hand's really bad too. Because we don't even have a green source to traverse. But are we realistically winning in the dark on a mull to 4? Don't think so. So we have to... Oh, man, this hand's really unfortunate because we're on the play. So it's like we don't even get that extra draw. And then on top of that, this traverse can't grab the other basic. Woof. Like, we would actually be okay with this hand if it was... if this was a fetch land. So really, Moto Shuffle at least sticking it to us here in the... Playing for the trophy here. I just don't think we could ever win on a mull to 4 on the play, but I don't think this hand's winning either. If we keep this, we probably bottom, Traverse, and Bolt. Alright, we gotta get lucky, I think. Traverse. Traverse obviously not being what we need because if we hit the land to play Traverse, we're just playing Tarmogoyf instead. And we can't cast the Bolt, but we can cast these 3, so... Alright. See what happens here. Hopefully these Dismember and this push can do something. Oh my gosh, what a funny league. Alright, they've got a banger of a hand, for sure. Because we can't take them off a Stormwing entity here. So we'll just take the Soulscar Mage, and then pass it on over. Fatal Push for the Swift Spear, Dismember for the Stormwing, pray we hit second land. Believe that's our plan right now. Okay. We can pass. I mean, if now we hit the second land and we got pretty good threat. So if something happens like they brick pretty hard, which is going to be tough because they've had the 2 draw steps now and double Manamorphose for redraws. But if somehow they brick, you know, maybe the Goyfs can take us home. We'll see. We're going to let them do all this stuff first, because I want them to be making that scry decision off the Stormwing entity based on their perceived information that their Swift Spear is going to stick and that their Stormwing is going to stick as well. Obviously, we're not going to be dismembering on this turn. Unless we... No, I think we'll just Fatal Push this. So let's let them scry first, and then we get to take our actions, and maybe it'll make their decision on the scry a little bit worse. Probably not, but there's a small chance. I'm just going to untap here. Oh, man. Alright. Actually, we don't have a shadow out, so we can go like this. Try to preserve our life total. Alright, now we're going to slam some goofers. See what happens. It's funny that we hit Forest. I mean, we just look like we're on Black-Green Rock now. Obviously, if they hit another Stormwing entity, then we're definitely in trouble. But they might be a little raising their eyebrows at this Dismember, but they might just think we're just a weird Black-Green Rock deck. My Izzet Prowess opponent's pretty good at top decking this card. That's for sure. This happened yesterday, too. And another threat. Oh, my goodness. Another Soulscar. Alright, well, what are you going to do? Hopefully they got nothing else. We'll see. Burst lightning face. Ooh, that's scary. Or maybe it's just like light up. Ooh, man. Our opponent certainly did not brick. That's for sure. Okay, now they did. Okay, cool. So, what do we need to hit now? We need to hit like second dismember for the Stormwing. And then, cause like, am I really gonna take this? Like, if they attack with both, I feel like I'm kind of priced into blocking here. It's like I'm just taking way too much damage if they have anything else here. I think that's gonna kill the Tarmogoyf if they just send it upstairs instead. All right, it's a bolt. Yeah, so if we hadn't have blocked, it would have been 9, 12. It would have put us to 3. So yeah, I just don't think that's an acceptable outcome here. I guess one thing is that if they take the W here, I mean, they're not going to be playing around any permission whatsoever. Such a funny hand for us to have rolled out on here. Okay, Dart. Feel like there's probably a way to put together lethal here. If they have any other spell. Oh, yeah. All right. GG's opponent. GG's. All right. So, yeah. Same thing again. Bring these in on the play. Let's see if we can just totally throw them for a loop. Cut the Royal Scions. We trimmed on a Thoughtseize. Alright, let's give this a shot. See what we can put together. Depending on the texture of our hand, our opponents will be like, are we playing against the same deck? Playing against us. This hand's kind of sweet, actually. Let's see. Fetch, shock. I think I'm going to keep this one. We have a redraw on the Street Wraith, helps turn on our Shadow, and just double Fatal Push here. Obviously, we don't have a good answer for Stormwing Entity. But potentially we could if we can stub a Manamorphose on turn 2, if that's what they have. Might be a little loose of a keep, but... I'm going to kick things off with the Street Wraith here. Okay, Goofer. Alright, that's not good. Yeah, maybe this hand was too greedy. Soul Scar, sure. This is tough. So now if I fetch for an Overgrown Tomb to potentially cast this Goyf, then I don't have a blue source up for the stub. I think it's worth it to just go for the Watery Grave here so that we can still hold up stub. Thought I yielded through. Okay. Pretty good. Pretty good. So if I fetch shock, I can play a 1/1 Shadow. And then hold up just a soft stub. But then am I guaranteed to, like... This is tough. Because, like, if I tap out for Tarmogoyf here, then they have like, Manamorphose and a Stormwing Entity, then we're in, like, a lot of trouble. But maybe... that's, like, a risk we have to take here. I think it's maybe a risk we have to take. Potentially as well. Yeah, because we can grab Stomping Ground off of this. And then we can still have a Temur Battle Rage. I'm going to go for it, because maybe we end up taking enough damage that we just can play Shadow Battle Rage for lethal. That would be maybe 2 or 3 turns down the road now. Okay. Let's see what our opponent's up to. We need sorcery in the yard. Okay. Let's Good sign. Interesting. Oh, but Stomping Ground doesn't let us play Shadow hold up stub, so that's something. Oh, another fetch land? Okay. We just start racing here. Got push, push. Maybe we do. Yeah, the fetching is potentially gonna maybe win or lose this game here. But if we hit just another fetch land, I think then we're set. Ooh, playing around the stub. Very cool. Yeah, because our Tarmogoyf is not ferocious right now. Okay. So we got to be thinking about damage now. So maybe that was a loose attack with the Tarmogoyf because we want a blocker here. But I think if we just go like this, if they have any more damage, then our Death Shadow will be a 4/4. I think we just got to preserve life. That's tough. Even like just a fetch for basic swamp here would be really great. Oh, okay. What happens? Okay, so what happens if I attack with the Tarmogoyf? I go to block with the Stormwing, then try to give it prowess. We can try to bolt it in response. We like super hard lose the game in that spot if they have like like they have like a bolt, say like they bolt and they have like a free spell as well. So what's another alternative line that we could take? We could play a Death Shadow, and if they go to bolt it, we could bolt ourselves. It's not a great use of our mana, but it potentially puts us in a spot to win the game. This is a really tough decision. Because we could try to play the controlling route by like fatal pushing the Swift Spear, and then if we are able to successfully bolt the Stormwing, then that could be really huge. Like we just clear their board of threats. I just need to. I'm gonna take like another like couple seconds to think, and then I'm gonna try to make my decision here. Oh, we also have Bolt the Stormwing, and we could try to stub something that they cast. So we could play around the free spell. Right, or that would result in our Tarmogoyf dying, though. So, like, if we go to attack Tarmogoyf... I'm going to try playing it this way. This might be just totally wrong, but let's see what happens. Let's try bolting first. If they go for a... Oh, I'm played so badly. Oh, no, because I can't stub the stupid prowess trigger. Oh, man, what are they darting? Us? Okay. So now maybe we can turn this around. Maybe we can turn this around. That was so dumb. I got so caught up in thought loops there that I just was just being stupid. Okay, so now what we're going to try to do is we're just going to play out a Death Shadow. But God, we just died to so much, right? That was so stupid. My plan should have been to... no, that was just dumb. That was just a horrible play. So, whatever. We'll just try to move on from it. Yeah. Let's see what they have. Obviously, if they have a way to put together lethal with this Stormwing entity, they probably would have gone for it already, right? Like any combination like Bolt... Wait, Bolt is just 7. Bolt just does it, right? Because it's just Bolt Dart from Yard. It'd be 7, 8, 9, yeah. Okay, interesting. Soul Scar Mage. Somehow this goofer's still a 3/4. I don't understand how he's still small. Okay, so our opponent's in the tank about something. I guess they're considering like how much damage do they want to deal to us. Which is like totally reasonable to be thinking about against a Death Shadow deck. My feeling is that if they feel like if they obviously they don't have lethal, because if they had lethal they would have just gone for it. Okay, interesting. This could be like just a really epic slow roll. Because there's just, I mean, we don't play Force Negation, I mean. Oh, they have Light Up? Oh, another Stormwing entity. Okay, nice. Alright, so we're now in a situation that we're just like pretty dead. They should not attack at all. They should not attack at all. They should just pass. Because they're in such a dominating position. Wow, they attack. Okay. Sure. If we hit fetch land, I think we win. We win just anyway? Wow. I think we should tap with both, right?
Do they have to double block the Shadow and block the Tarmogoyf to live here? That
Doesn't do it. Right? Because we just battle rage this and then Goyf with the damage here does it, right? I mean, we dine anyway, so if it doesn't work out, we'll see. Yeah. Well, yeah, that'll do it.
They literally lost because they didn't put one of those on the Tarmogoyf.
That was wild.
That's all they had to do.
Wow. Well, hate to say that our opponent threw, but I'm pretty sure our opponent just threw. I really think... Oh, our opponent says bad play me. Yeah, I don't really know what to... I don't want to say too much. I don't want to come across as rude. But yeah, definitely, because, like, I think they just should have passed. They were in such a dominating position. I mean, just, like, they got 2 Stormwing entities, and we're at, what, like, 9 life? It's just, like... I just don't think that they're going to... I don't think they lose the game if they just pass. And I think they put themselves into a position to just super win. I think we're just going to run this back. This arrangement. Alright, so we're playing for the 5-0. It's kind of cool. We'll see how things turn out. We've had interesting hands both those games. We definitely stole that one. Alright, so this one is just a mulligan. Yeah, there's no justifying keeping this one. This one's fine. We're going to get rid of the ugly artwork, Polluted Delta.
As you should.
Let's think about...
The ugly art when you have 2 of them.
Bruh, do not come for my onslaught fetches, dude. You will be banned from this chat and this video for the rest of your... No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not kidding at all.
Wow, our opponent rolled a 5. Okay.
How do you win this match?
That. So I gotta think about what I want to do with my fetching and stuff. Ooh, Kling's pretty good. But let's definitely bobble ourselves first, because if we see, like, Death Shadow, we can Street Wraith and grab it. Fatal Push. Yeah, I want that. So, I think because our threat is a Tarmogoyf here, I think I'm just actually going to grab Basic Swamp and Thoughtseize. I think the way we lose is we get cheesed. And then this can grab a, like, Breeding Pool or something. Really quick, let me just check. I do want to, because this is kind of a big deal for this game. Mike, what do you think about that kind of line?
I like it.
Okay.
Like you said, the way that you lose this game is your opponent going like turn 2 Manamorphose Stormwing.
Right.
And if you're able to like stop a lot of that from happening, then you can slow the game down a lot.
I think I actually take up Light Up the Stage here. I think I take Light Up the Stage because I want to push the Sprite Dragon. And Light Up the Stage is how they get back in. It's how they start to unmulligan. So, unfortunate to let them keep the Sprite Dragon, but I think that's what we're going with here.
Well, getting to fetch up like a tap Breeding Pool next turn is not the worst.
Okay, hello.
Or not. Or not.
Or not. Or not. All right, so they hit us here. Ooh, this is getting intense. So,
Drone camping, man.
no, just that's exactly right, dude. Oh wow, Blood Crypt's actually a sick draw. So I fetch and shock, but I want to fetch shock fatal push. That's what I really want to do. So how am I fetching to do that? I can grab Overgrown Tomb. I don't have any blue cards in hand. I think we're just gonna let the color blue go. I think.
I agree.
Yeah. And I'm gonna push the Sprite Dragon now because I don't want to get again. I think another way to lose this game is to get just totally blown out by a Spell Pierce here.
Actually miss seeing the card Spell Pierce. Feel like I haven't seen it in so long.
Right.
Go play Legacy. It's all over the place.
Opponent says, GG, my bad attack. Cost my 4-1. Oof. But are they going to scoop, though? They said GG, but I don't think they scoop. Alright, well, I'll be a little bit of a sad panda if they... if they said GG and don't scoop. Alright, well, I guess we're still playing, so they didn't mean that GG, so I'll just pretend like they didn't write anything. Alright, they top bottom. So that means they're still intending to play more. What do they do? What do I do if they attack? That's close. Okay, they don't have to. They don't put that decision on me. Sad face from them. So I play. Sorry, Mike. My brain's getting all foggy because this is like kind of intense. I'm gonna need your help on this one. Do I just play fetch land attack?
I think I would shock in the Blood Crypt attack, because you don't really want to have to fetch and shock if something goes horribly wrong. Like, if you play fetch land and your opponent bolts your shadow, you have to fetch and shock to save it.
Right.
And that's putting a lot of unnecessary damage on yourself.
Right.
But if you just shock and play the Tarmogoyf, hold up the Cling here, then you have the ability to Cling to gain the life if necessary. You have the Tarmogoyf on the battlefield.
Right.
And you can save that Catacombs for later if you need to lower your life total more or less at that point.
Yeah, really well said. Really well said.
It's like you're really ahead on board right now, and you just want to kind of protect that.
Right. Alright, fetching right away. Let's see what they got.
Hard cast light up.
No. Yeah, it's another Serum Visions. That makes sense. Opponent's paused here. Okay. Not going to move on this Cling yet because we can do some funny stuff with it potentially down the line here. Fatal Push, Trophy. So I think we can just go for it here, in my opinion. Because if we trophy this, presenting 11, if I fetch shock down to 4, am I dead to anything because I have Cling as backup? I don't think so, right? I think I can go for it.
I think so.
Yeah. Because, like, Cling is just my backup. Yeah, so I think I'm going to go for it here. Yeah, bolt, bolt, dart, dart. Nothing gets me here, I don't think.
Is
don't play basic island.
Usually play island, yeah.
Okay. This is what I got, opponent. Turn off auto yields. Turn off auto yields. Turn off auto yields. Opponent says, "Wow, misplay cost my 4-1." He's upset. Yeah, that does suck.
Like gave us the 5-0.
Yeah,
so-
gave us the 5-0. So.
Oh no.
I believe that would be the ultimate insult to opponent. Would be saying that your misplay gave me a 5-0.
Hey! Third trophy of the season. Feels so good. Feels so good. Wow. Well,
done.
thank you, man. Thank you. Well, shoot, I'm really happy. I had Mike here, I think. Mike bailed me hard in one spot. I forget the spot right now because that was pretty exciting. But Mike bailed me super hard there in that one spot. But otherwise, yeah, guys, that felt great. I really felt confident in a lot of that, a lot through that league, and feels good. We'll see what happens. 4-color lists tend to get published, not always, but last time I trophied with 4-color, it got published. But hey, trophy for the trophy. Thank you guys so much. If you're still here, I really appreciate you hanging out and following me on this journey. And yeah, I will see everyone tomorrow.